What's up, guys? T-Jim here, back at you again. And today I'm going to be doing a comparison video for the recently released Dark Phoenix. Now, I went to go see Dark Phoenix a couple of days ago, and I couldn't help but notice several differences from the comic and from the movie. Whether you like the movie or not, that's totally your opinion, and I would love to see your opinion of the movie down below in the comment section. So, yeah, please tell me about what you thought of the movie. Now, like I said, regardless of what you thought of the movie, I'm going to be telling you some key differences from the movie to the comic. So, yeah, let's begin. Now, the biggest sort of glaring difference here from the comic to the movie is that in the comics there is this galactic empire called the Shiar Empire. Now, the Shiar Empire is one of the big staples in Marvel Comics, much like the Kree and the Skrull. The Shiar Empire are this huge galactic empire that encompasses the vast amounts of the universe. Now, during the original Phoenix saga, we had a sort of a dictator by the name of Decan who was obsessed with this thing called the Imkron crystal that basically houses another universe and was potentially very deadly to the universe, and that's why sort of the Phoenix saga was implemented because of this whole thing with the Phoenix and it being the guardian, whatever like that. So the Shiar Empire included, of course, Decan, but also included his sister Lalandra. Now, Lalandra plays a big part in the Dark Phoenix saga, where she becomes Magistrix, basically the head of the Shiar Empire, and also becomes the love interest of Charles Xavier, Professor X. That sort of complicates things within the Dark Phoenix saga and leads into some sort of conflict between the two. We also see another major player in Gladiator and the Imperial Guard. Now, the Imperial Guard are basically Lalandra sort of, or whoever serves the thrones. Basically, is their secret police. Basically, their elite guard, and Gladiator, who is basically the head of security, played a major role in this as well, in the Dark Phoenix saga as well, because he's basically Superman. You can't beat him, whatever, because he has all the powers of Superman. The breath, the super strength, flight, heat vision, but his powers are different. They're more confidence based instead of solar based. So that's the biggest glaring difference there, as far as the comics to the movie, is that the Shi'ar Empire are totally not there. Now, there was another alien race that took a part that was a part of that part of the movie, I guess in place of the Shi'ar Empire, because I guess the Shi'ar Empire hasn't been established yet in the movies, but that's the biggest glaring difference. Now, the second major difference that you see from the movie and from the comic is that in the comics, the Phoenix Force is a sentient being. Now, what I mean by that is that it's the Phoenix Force is not just a power source like as applied in the movie. The Phoenix Force is actually a thinking, sort of, thinking, breathing force. It has ideas, it has thoughts, it has feelings, and it's not just power incarnate. It is just actually it's made up of all life, past, present, and future, not just in the main Marvel universe, not just in the main 616, but in the entire multiverse. So, in essence, the Phoenix Force is everything that encompasses life, past, present, and future, throughout the entire Marvel continuity. So it's an incredibly powerful force. And now I'm going to get into some bit of a bit ahead of myself here. Is that the Phoenix Force sort of declares one person more suited to host it above all else, and Jean Grey sort of embodies that. She's sort of the perfect host. In fact, she actually gets upgraded to what's called the White Phoenix of the Crown. Basically, that's saying that she has complete and total mastery of the Phoenix Force, and she can basically become godlike whenever and do whatever she wants. So there you go. It also is that the Phoenix Force is also a cosmic level being. This is a force that actually makes Galactus pause. During the Dark Phoenix Saga, we see that the Phoenix Saga in her dark form, Jean is her Dark Phoenix form, actually consumes a sun and basically destroys an entire universe. And this is what brings the Shiar Empire into things, because she's just such a destructive force and needs to be stopped. So, but then again, the Dark Phoenix is able to breathe in space, able to traverse space at faster than light speeds, has incredible power, that on par with, like I said, with Galactus and other cosmic level beings, such as Celestials, Mistress Love, and Master Hate. Those levels of being, Eternity. It has that much power residing in the Phoenix Force. Another more earthbound type of thing that they missed here was the fact that we do not see the Hellfire Club. Now, the Hellfire Club is basically a bunch of mutants who go about doing things behind the scenes for nefarious purposes. Now, that group included Emma Frost, who was the White Queen, Sebastian Shaw, who we actually saw in X-Men First Class. His character was actually originated during the Dark Phoenix Saga. So, and you remember his powers and stuff, that he could take basically a blunt force trauma or any type of energy projected at him and use it as physical force redirected back at the opponent. So he's a very, very interesting character, and he was actually the head of the Hellfire Club. We also have a character called Mastermind. Now, in the comics, Mastermind, he is the one that sort of manipulates Jean Grey into becoming a part of the Hellfire Club, where she becomes the Black Queen. And during that whole saga, he casts illusions into believing that himself and Jean were lovers, and that the X-Men were out to get her, and basically tricks her into seeing things. But the Phoenix Force, being as powerful as it is, and Jean Grey's telepathic powers being amplified during that whole thing, saw past Mastermind's illusions and turned against the Hellfire Club. So that's another big difference. The next big thing is that during the original Phoenix Saga, now this is the saga that predated the Dark Phoenix Saga. Now, during that saga, we see in the beginning of the movie that Jean goes up to help out some astronauts and saves them, and thus has the Phoenix Force become part of her. The difference, though, is that in the comics, the space shuttle was hurtling down toward New York Harbor. Now, the X-Men and the shuttle crash land in the harbor. The X-Men survive, and all the astronauts survive. However, during that scene, everybody thought Jean was either hurt or dead, but she arises from the water as the Phoenix. So that's another huge difference there, as far as the comics go. Another big difference is that we do not see Colossus in this movie. Although Colossus didn't play a huge role in this movie, in the comics, he was a major supporting character, or I should say a minor supporting character, and he was there during the saga. So that's another glaring difference there. Now, on the flip side, Beast was actually not through the entire part of the Dark Phoenix saga. He actually was with the Avengers at the time, and he actually came in probably about, I would say, halfway through the Dark Phoenix saga to help out the X-Men with a device that could suppress Jean's telepathic abilities, and thus suppressing the Dark Phoenix inside of her for a bit. But that turned out null. It was overcome, and Beast did whatever he could. But he was part of the Avengers during the first part of the Dark Phoenix saga, so he didn't have this whole vengeance against Jean, wanting to kill her and stuff like that, because he was off avenging stuff with the Avengers. So that's another key difference, because there was no Mystique there at all to avenge, basically, for Beast. The next I think a major glare, but it was actually nice to see this though. Magneto wasn't there at all during the Phoenix saga. He was actually absent during this whole thing. But it was cool to see Magneto on the big screen again, played by Michael Fassbender. And Fassbender, is it Fassbender or Fassbender? I forget what it is. But his character, I love his character. So that was a nice welcome there as far as the movie goes. But Magneto was not present during the Dark Phoenix saga, and neither was he there during the original Phoenix saga. So Magneto was absent during this whole thing. And lastly, probably the biggest thing for a lot of comic fans and a lot of Logan fans, no Wolverine. He was not a part of the movie at all, but he was in the original comic. Now, this sort of harkens back to X-Men The Last Stand, actually, because in X-Men The Last Stand, of course, we see that Dark Phoenix was present there as well. But the key difference there is that in the last Stand, Wolverine actually kills Jean in order to save everybody. In the comics, Logan had a chance to actually end all of this, to actually kill Jean when she actually asked him to do that. But he, him being in love with Jean, he could not do it. And yeah, so that's a big difference. Also, the battle took place on the moon. Now, there's this place on this moon called the blue side of the moon, where there's actually air to breathe, and there's actually a lost sort of outpost there for another civilization. So I believe it was the Kree. So basically this whole battle with the Shiar and with the X-Men took place on what was called the blue side of the moon, and that was left out from the movie as well. So there you go. There you have it. There's all the differences that were from the comic and from the movie, I believe. Now, if I've missed anything, please let me know in the comments below. I really would appreciate it. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great day. I'll be doing another X-Men related video tomorrow. That being on the X-Men animated series, who has recently been serviced on social media and stuff. So with that, take care, guys. I hope to talk to you guys soon. And yeah, bye.